Welcome back to K24 Alpha Jury of that madness that is interactive to now talking social matters. Today is Thursday, and as you always know, every single Thursday we talk matters, relationship and social issues. Today we're going to be focusing on a topic that has been trending on social media. Actually, yesterday it was trending on social media, and that is matters contraceptives, which is family planning and abortion. And I am actually joined by a very interesting panel right here. If they could just introduce themselves. Let me start with you, Catherine.
My name is Catherine Karira. Good morning, viewers.
What do you do, Catherine?
I'm a counselor.
Yes.
And my nickname is Uspeane because I talk to our children about sexuality.
Yes.
And I tell them it's not an emergency.
All right.
Yes.
We're so happy to have you back.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm Dr. Ignatius Kive, known popularly as Inyavio. I've done pharmacology, which is the science of drugs. What are drugs? How do they work? Where did they originate from? What are the side effects? What are the toxic effects? What's the long-term effect of a drug?
Yes.
So that is pharmacology. So when we take somebody, for example, to theater,
Yeah.
and we want them to go through a cesarean section,
Yeah.
how do we switch them off one by one? And how do we switch them back on?
Yeah.
So that is my specialty.
Okay. Karibu sana. Finally.
And my name is Joyce Kushiale. I am a graduate and I'm a PR consultant.
Okay.
Yes.
Karibu sana to K24 Alpha Jury. I'm so happy to have the three of you here with me to discuss contraceptives and abortion. And as we start, maybe Dr. Kibe, you could take us through what contraceptive is or what they are and the different kinds of contraceptives that we have available in the country.
Yes, contraception, and they used to call it then birth control.
Yes.
And then it came to family planning. It's a situation where we reverse our womanhood. We reverse the effects of hormones. Essentially, the process of childbirth begins from the brain, an area called hypothalamus.
Yeah.
And it goes to another area called the pituitary gland, which then supply hormones or messages down to the internal and external reproductive organs. Supplies the ovaries, supplies the fallopian tubes, supplies the external genitalia. And what we do in contraception is to reverse the whole process. That is, we want to reverse an egg from developing. It will not develop. And if there is no egg that has developed, then there is no child. We want to reverse the suitability, the environmental suitability of the uterus, the uterine lining. We want to harden it. We want to spoil it so that there is no implantation of a baby.
Yeah.
We want to stop the motility of the fallopian tube. We also want to make sure that the eggs that are in a woman do not ripen. So this is contraception, where we reverse womanhood and the process of womanhood so that she does not get a child. And unfortunately, there are very many side effects because you are not just reversing that part of the baby itself. You reverse the woman's reproductive system.
Absolutely. You
You reverse the woman's personality. You reverse development. For example, if they are taken too early, at the very early ages, breasts will not develop.
All right. And by early, you mean maybe 10 years, 13 years?
13 years.
13 years, okay.
13 years. I've had the parents who want to inject their 13-year-old, 14-year-old daughters with family planning proveras and hormones and even implant. I'm warning them that in the process, they are going to interfere with the final development of the woman. She'll eventually develop a beard.
Beards, yeah.
She'll eventually not have the uterus grow to its size.
Yeah.
The eggs that are in the ovaries and they are born with the woman from childbirth, the eggs will never develop.
Okay, and we shall be delving much deeper into that, into the side effects of contraceptives, but we just need to understand the different methods of family planning that we have in the market right now.
One,
yeah,
of course, the well-known condom.
Okay.
Two, we have gels these days. We have like nonoxynol 9 gel. When it's applied externally, it kills sperms. Three, we have the pill. And in this word pill, there are so very many different pills.
Yeah.
We have the daily pill.
Yeah.
We have something that they are calling emergency pill, and I want to warn people that this emergency pill is very bad. It's a whole concentration of hormones called levonorgestrel and estrogens.
Yeah.
And sometimes we even have a very cancer a drug, which is embedded, essentially not to bring cancer, but to stop the baby from implanting. And ethinyl estradiol.
Yeah.
Ethinyl estradiol is sometimes placed in family planning pills and in the so-called emergency pill. And this word emergency is very important. E-pill.
The reason why we take...
Why do you take an emergency pill for
the
ordinary love affair? You see, it's not an emergency to make love. It's actually godly. Then there is the implant, which is again a long-acting levonorgestrel, the same hormone, and the progestins, which is made soluble, very slowly soluble. We call it a delayed release, and it can be placed for 3 years, 5 years, up to 10 years under the skin. And it is, and by the way, it was introduced in 1991 worldwide, so it's not properly researched.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then there is the 3-monthly depot. Depot here meaning that every 3 months you get these hormones and they interrupt the process that I talked about earlier. There is, of course, we have also the coitus interrupters, where the man is supposed to interrupt love making. And there is what the Catholic, Muslim, and the Christian, the Christians call the calendar method, where you now have to watch and to know yourself when exactly is the egg ready for fertilization.
Okay.
Our animals are very good at it. Cows are very good at it. Birds are very good at it. They know when to do it and when not to do it. It's also a method of contraception. So there are so very many. In Kenya, I think the registered ones are 11.
11 of them.
11 of them.
Okay.
And the choice is very important, by the way. It's not, which one did you use? Sometimes in your hairdo places, there are doctors there
have those
who...
discussions, yeah.
Which one did you use? And it does not mean that the one that is suitable for Sarah is the one that is suitable for Teresa.
Absolutely.
No, so it should be a whole professional activity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Catherine, the last time you were here, we were actually talking about teen pregnancies, and we mentioned that 357,000 girls between the age of 10 to 19 are pregnant in Kenya every year. Yeah. And we brought up the issue of contraceptives, asking ourselves whether it's the right time for us to start talking about contraceptives in school and in social places and in our homes. I'm still going to shoot that question to you as we continue with this discussion, now that today we are giving light to contraceptives and abortion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to borrow from what Doctor has said, because I've been on record saying that even our puppies do not mate.
Yeah.
The calves do not mate. And here we are, our children having sex, which I've said before, it's not an emergency. And I said, like I said previously, no one will ever die for not having sex. So what our children need to know is get to know before they wish they knew. Actually, when Doctor was speaking, I was wishing they are all listening, because he has said we spoil. He has said contraceptives spoil, delay, could cause cancer. The effects are not worth trying. However, What our children need to know is there is time for everything. Time to have sex, time not to have sex. And I go back to the animal kingdom. The animal kingdoms they look to know better than us. They are not mating. Puppies do not mate. Kittens do not mate. So we cannot sit here and have our children show us that it's like sex is oxygen. What our children need to know is time. And as I said before, feelings are not a pain. Just because they are feeling like they are on fire or they are on heat, that doesn't mean they have to do it. Actually, for me, my concern as a Christian is we seem to be fearing pregnancy more than respecting God. If the fear of God could come on our children, would be able to know there's time for everything, and it will come. Honestly speaking, we are asking our children to tame themselves and get married, then they can have it all through. But for now, they must again think with the head in the mind. Is it worth it?
Right.
The doctor has told us. And even I was saying, doctor, you need to do it again and again every day. Because professionally and medically, he's correct more than myself, who pick from what he's saying. So what I'm saying, I'm telling our children is, whether people are doing it or not doing it, it doesn't make it right. Just because you can walk into the shop and buy contraceptives, that doesn't make it right. Just because you can get a rubber for free condom, that doesn't make sex outside marriage right. Otherwise, we are going to perish.
Okay. Just, I'd like to hear your opinion on this one because, you know, you're representing the younger generation, and most of the time, the young people have quoted to say that, you know, I think the older generation is misunderstanding us. And, are the younger ones having sex? Yes, they are. So is it about time that we introduced contraceptives as a topic in our school?
Yeah, I think it's very important to teach our young children that these things happen. It's happening. And I understand, I totally agree with you, that we've been brought up to know that sex before marriage is wrong. But then we can't assume the fact that people are getting pregnant in high school and in primary school. They're getting pregnant. So what do? Do we still preach the same thing that it's right, fine, but the way you're delivering it is not working. It's not working. And if you don't tell them that they should protect themselves, they'll still go out there and they'll get pregnant, and then that will have happened. And then now their life would have been not on pause, because, I mean, they have to take care of the children. So now what happens? After that, after they're pregnant and we are preaching that it's wrong, but it's happening, and not everyone reads from the same book as everyone else, like the Christianity perspective of it. Yeah. So I think we should teach them, not if not giving it to them, then teach them that they are contraceptives, teach them about condoms, teach them how to use them if they have to use them. That's if they have to use them, because we are also forgetting that rape cases happen. Yeah.
Joyce, when first did you hear about contraceptives, and how did you access them?
First, when did I hear about them? High school. But then you see, at that time, well, it's a course, so you're not really listening, but you're listening for exams, yeah. But when I first heard about and listened, it's in university.
From the lecturer or from your friends?
The lecturer, my friends, yeah.
Okay. All right. When did you decide, how did you decide which one you want to use?
First of all, in university, you're not given so much money, so you can't go out and get the everyday pill. And we all know that emergency pills are for emergencies.
Yes.
So the cheap contraceptives to get is condoms. So that's technically what works for every young person who doesn't have much money to go get the patch or the coil.
Okay. Dr. Kibe, you wanted to respond to what
Yes, I
Joyce
wanted to mention something that she has raised up, and this is the source of information. What has happened in the recent past is that if we don't talk about it like she recommends, they will still get the information, but they will get the wrong information. And I wanted to support that. They should actually place this topic in upper primary and secondary schools, and is a must in universities, because there's so many gadgets these days. We have this magic called the telephone, and it has everything. And indeed, I want to mention at this very early stage, you asked her whether she had it from her professor or from her friends.
Friends, yeah.
And most of them get it from the phone.
Internet.
And what is in this phone, most of it, even the pharmacology that I talked about in this phone, some of it is fake. Some of it is exaggerated. You find the pornography in the phone is a total exaggeration of the facts on the ground. In my clinic, virtually every other day, I get men who'd like this drug to make them more, their libido, to make their organs bigger than normal, to make them probably be performers, probably up to a whole hour of sexuality. And they're getting it from
the internet.
The internet,
Yeah.
the phone, and I'm saying to them that these are pictures, these are exaggerations, these are electronic pictures. There is nobody who is going to probably make the ear bigger than it was given by God. If you see somebody who goes telling other people that I'll give you a drug and your nose will be longer and it will. Somebody tried it at international level and the nose fell off. So don't try to change the size of your breasts. Don't try to change the size of your male organ. Don't try those chemicals and machines that are being peddled all over.
Absolutely. So let's come back to the topic of the day, which is contraceptives. Of course, we will have another session where we will be talking about, plastic surgery and whatnot. But before we continue, let's take the question for the day. We have an opinion poll on our social media platforms. And the question is it about time we incorporate sex education in our schools? Is it about time we incorporate sex education in our schools? So far, we have, that's 67%, 87% saying yes. 87% of you are saying yes. We have 11% of you saying no, and we have 2% who are not sure whether it's about time sex education should be incorporated in school. Wow. So let's actually just try to make our viewers understand, because I'm sure there's so many young people who are watching this. And the problem, as Joyce has mentioned, is lack of information. Because we are using these contraceptives as per what my friend is using or what I've heard or what I've read from the internet. What are the side effects of the pill?
The pill, the ordinary pill, like I explained earlier, is a chemical derived from pregnancy and the pregnant women or males, that is a horse. It was discovered that if you picked the hormones that sustain a pregnancy, because a pregnancy, when a woman is pregnant, she cannot get another pregnancy. So what they do is they study the chemistry of that hormone, essentially called progesterone, although this is a general name, and they manufacture progesterone. And that's what I called levonorgestrel. That's what I called progestatins. And they give to a non-pregnant lady so that her blood records, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, don't bring another one, I'm pregnant. So you can imagine a lady who has progestatins for 5 years and it continues saying, I'm pregnant. It's telling the brain, it's telling the hypothalamus, it is telling the pituitary, it is telling the ovaries, don't develop another egg, I'm already pregnant. And it says that to the body repeatedly for 5 years. So it's telling you, reverse your womanhood. Do not bring even the fluid, the lubricative fluid from the cervix. Don't go near a man. So even their libidos actually go down. So it is a chemical or a set of chemicals. Sometimes they also add what we call estrogens. They manufacture estrogen, they mix it up with progestatins, progesterone, and they sometimes even use the DES that I talked about, that ethinyl estradiol. And when they use those ones, they stop the egg from developing, at least temporarily.
All right.
and the body records permanently that there is a pregnancy, there is a pregnancy, don't develop another one.
So that can actually lead to infertility.
Absolutely. In the end, when you teach an organ, our bodies are made in such a way that there is something called feedback mechanism. Feedback mechanism, if you manufacture saliva and you don't use saliva, the body will say to the glands, don't make more saliva.
Okay.
I have enough.
Okay.
So when the body, the pituitary and the hypothalamus and the eggs are not even there in the first place. So there is no estrogen, there is no progesterone, there is no luteinizing hormone. So when you say it repeatedly, then it packs. It says, okay, we will not be producing this.
Wow.
And that now leads to a very important question before we leave it. Because some people tell you that immediately we remove the implant.
You're going to get pregnant.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
They stay for years looking now for pregnancy. So that is now the crux of the matter is nobody can time. Nobody can tell you that you use a nipple today and a nipple the day after and a nipple next week. And then when you stop it, you become pregnant. No, it doesn't work.
Okay, all right. So I want us to actually get back to social media. And the question for the day is it about time we incorporate sex education in our school? So far, we have 81% of you saying yes, 16% of you saying no, and 3% of you saying you are not sure whether it's about time. Let's sample some of your feedback on social media and see what you guys have to say. We have James Mondegu who's saying, we cannot continue burying our heads in the sand, and it is happening and costing us the lives of the future generation of this country. Even our forefathers used to teach and educate the young. We only need to start and see the benefits. Well, okay, that is James. We have McLeod Philip who's saying, I'm just loving this. Hire me, I will educate these young ones since adults are shying from it. Sarah, I abstained from sex for all my high school life, hence practicing secondary virginity. I did it. These children can do it. We have Captain Dominic who's saying sex education should be introduced in schools. It will reduce the number of teenage pregnancies. All right. And then we have Wanjiko Mogane who's saying, what are you teaching about sex education that these learners don't possibly know? In fact, they can teach you. Joyce, do you agree with that? Yeah.
Like you said, the internet is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
And if we get one-sided information from someone, because parents need to be open-minded, or our parents, our teachers, they need to be open-minded and not talk from one side of the story. You need to actually broaden your mind, your thoughts, and let us in, you know. Otherwise, we'll go to the internet, we'll research, and we'll get much more information that you might possibly not have. Yeah.
Real quick, because we have to take a commercial break.
Let's say that sex education is there for us with us. We must teach it. Actually, for me, when I'm doing Sunday school, 9-year-old, I tell them they can make babies. So it is important for them to know, because what informs you forms you. If we don't tell them, they'll be taught by the social media. And a fact will always remain a fact. If the information they get is wrong, they'll get it wrong. However, what I want to say is that we don't have to mess today to protect today, because you have a future. Doctor has told us you might not make babies in the future. So are we going to give them and tell them no babies? We close chapter for Kenya. No, we must tame ourselves.
Okay. All right. And on that note, I want us to take a short commercial break. And then when we come back, we shall continue discussing the side effects of contraceptives. I want us to talk about the IUD, which is very common here in Kenya, the implant, and of course, we will talk about the emergency contraceptives. We take a short commercial break. Then when we come back, we will take more of your samples on social media. So please keep on talking to us and letting us know what you think about this topic, contraceptives. Should we introduce it or rather incorporate it in school? Remember, our social media handle is Facebook K24TV. Instagram and Twitter is at K24TV. We take a short commercial break. We will be right back. Do not go anywhere.